everybody will say to me, like, oh my God, Amy T, I can't believe that you make a living doing comedy. I'm like, yeah, MasterCard and Visa think I'm hilarious. But, and you ask any one of the comics tonight after the show, when somebody meets you for the first time and they find out you're a comedian, the first thing that'll come out of their mouth is tell me a joke, right? Every time. So I was at a barbecue last summer, and this guy comes up to me, he's like, you're a comedian? And I said, yeah. He's like, well, I think you should tell me a joke. Ha, 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 right? Then proceeds to open his beer with the bottom of his sandal. Like, have you ever seen these, like, I guess they're reef sandals or something? And I was like, wow, that is the coolest thing. I was like, I have a hat that has the bottle opener on the brim, and mine hasn't stepped in shit. There's your joke. I'm excited to be starting a new year. I'm excited. I'm glad. I just needed a new year. Because in 2009, I went through a lot of medical stuff, and I was finally diagnosed with fibromyalgia, but you have to go through a lot of testing. And one of the tests that they gave me, ladies, was an internal ultrasound, right, all up inside me, Amy T. And I was already nervous and anxious as it was, right? And so the nurse comes barging in, and she starts barking at me. She's like, is there any chance that you could possibly be pregnant? She's like, well, how do you know what kind of birth control to use? So I snapped back, girls. Bring it, bitch, because we can go all day. Then she pulls out like this 4 or 5 foot wand, right? I mean, the thing is friggin' huge. Now, I know I look like a porn star and all. But I was fairly certain I couldn't handle all that. And then, with absolutely no bedside manner or foreplay skills whatsoever, she just shoves the thing inside me and starts shifting me like a NASCAR at the Daytona 500. So after a couple of minutes, I look up, I was like, hey, Dale Jr., slow down. Because you're about to hit the wall. Double entendre there. So after the medical scare, I decided to take 2010 and just embrace it by storm, right? So I went on vacation and I went skydiving for the first time. Has anybody ever been? Oh my God, if you've never been, right? It's the most incredible experience, right? It's this adrenaline rush that you can't describe to anybody. You just got to do it, right? And I thought about it after I got done. I'm like, now I know why blind people would never skydive. That would scare the shit out of the dog. See, some of you are just now starting to get it. Helmet's my ass. You guys are on top of it. I became a godmother recently, too. I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about that. I mean, obviously, we have a bunch of parents here in the audience, but did anybody think about what your child's monogram was going to look like? Because some people don't, and neither did my best friend. My goddaughter was named after both grandmoms. So my goddaughter's name is Harriet Patricia Vasquez. She has HPV for the rest of her life. So a couple of weeks ago, I had to go to little HPV's baptism, right? Because the mother thought that the godmother should go, so I had to be there. And I don't know when the last time you all have been to church, but for me, it's been forever. But it never ceases to amaze me the stupid shit people will do, ever, right? So I'm sitting in the service, I'm watching, little HPV get dumped, right? And the guy next to me lights up a cigarette. I was so shocked I dropped my damn beer. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Crazy bastard smoking in church. What is wrong with him? So I've lived in April all my life. I grew up here, and I grew up an only child to well, unless of course you want to count my dad. Like growing up with him, it was like competing with another sibling. Like, we just never got along, ever. And it started out when I was very young, right? It started out when I was 5 years old, and he was sitting at the kitchen table, and he's reading the newspaper, and he's like, oh my God, Amy T, this is awful. And I'm like, Daddy, what's the matter? He's like, Santa Claus was killed on 495, no Christmas this year. Who says that to a little kid? Right? My father, and he's an asshole, and Homer, because he hasn't quite made a card for that yet. And it never got any better. I remember I was 6 years old and he told me I was ugly. I'm like, I am not ugly. He's like, yes you are. I'm like, no I'm not. He's like, yes you are. And I'm like, no I'm not. He's like, if you looked up ugly in the dictionary, your picture would be there. I'm like, no. So I went, I get the Webster's dictionary, right? And the son of a bitch put my picture next to the later, right? I was coming home on the school bus, and the older kids were talking about prick. And I was old enough to know that I don't think it was all that much good, but young enough that I wasn't 100% sure what it was, right? So I came home from school that day, and I'm like, Daddy, what's a prick? He's like, I want you to look it up in the dictionary. Tell me my mom didn't have my back, because she put his picture. My mom's on Facebook now. She's been on Facebook for 2 months and hasn't friend requested me yet. I find this out because she's a mutual friend of mine, right? So I click on her, so I friend request her, right? And then I click on her profile, and under her relationship status, it says it's complicated. So I tell her I do a joke about it now, right? She's like, you know what, Amy T, I don't think it's all that much money. I go, you know what, Mom? Write it on my wall. I get to travel a lot. I get to travel the country for doing comedy, which is a lot of fun. Like, I was in Los Angeles recently, and I make all my travel reservations from home online, right? So when I pulled up in front of my hotel, I just looked around like, wow, that webmaster was really good with Photoshop. None of it looked like the pictures online, right? So with a bit of hesitance, I went in to check in, right? And I'm standing at the desk, and the guy's writing out my slip, and I'm staring at his hand. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with his hand? Finally, after a couple of minutes, it dawns on me, it's because he has an extra thumb. And I shit you not like a little nub, but like a full-on knuckle with a nail. Now, obviously, I can't stop staring at it, right? So he's trying to make small talk with me. He's like, you know it's going to be a beautiful night. You might want to take a dip in the hot tub. I'm looking around like, I don't even want to step foot in the shower. Never mind your 150-degree human petri dish. Especially if the extra appendage is responsible for cleaning it. But I'm walking away to my room shaking my head. I'm like, you know what? He could hitchhike in either direction. But mostly I do a lot of work around in New England, so I get to drive everywhere I go. And a couple of weeks ago, I had to work in Bangor, Maine. Yeah, I know, there's a lot of funny stereotypes about people from Maine. Their teeth aren't missing. They're just black. But like, you know how like when you're driving up 95, there's like 18 tolls from here to Bangor, right? So I get to the York-Algonquin toll, and the guy in the toll booth starts flirting with me, right? He's like, you know, I won $1,000 playing Keno last week. And I was like, that's fantastic. He's like, do you think you might want to go to dinner with me and play Keno with me sometime? I said, would you please look at me? I drive a Hummer, I don't give them. I do drive a Hummer, and I don't want you to think I'm a complete asshole, because when I bought it, I did buy a smart car and throw it in the back. I love my Hummer. I get like a half a tank going out of the driveway. It's fantastic. And because we live in Haverhill, right, we don't have the curbside recycling, so I got to go to the recycle center on Wednesdays and Saturdays, right? And then, so do you think I look like an asshole on Wednesday at the recycle center in my Hummer? When I left it running to keep it warm? One of the features I have to have in any car I own is cruise control. Love cruise control. Y'all use it? Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Tell me this will not make you insane. When you're in like the fast lane doing like 75, 80 miles an hour on cruise control, and then someone always will inevitably pull up in front of you doing like friggin' 50, that would make me crazy. Because most of the time I'm texting. Oh yeah, those Facebook status do not update themselves. 9 times out of 10, I'm double-fisted with Tanqueray, so get the hell out of my way. Hey, you guys have been a lot of fun. Thanks a lot. My name's Amy Cole.